Good morning, it's UPB from OptionMillionaires.com, December 19th, 2013, less than a week away from Christmas. And boy, Santa Claus came early yesterday. Federal Reserve came out. And let's look at this. I was talking about this in the chat room, and I also put this chart up in the forum. Talked about it to the members at OptionMillionaires.com as a topping pattern, as head and shoulders pattern, which I actually brought up right about here. So we did see a decline of almost 2%, which in this market, a 2% decline is almost like a market crash. Surprised it didn't halt the market. And then on top of that, we have this, and I'll just pull in a little closer, another head and shoulders pattern that did see weakness today. Weakness, go figure. And then this 178 level, key level, I said was key. Indeed it was. Look at the explosion we had to the upside. But initially we broke through it when the Federal Reserve came out. We fell for about, 0.3 of a second, and then blasted higher. So we had two things really that surprised market participants, analysts alike. One, Federal Reserve tapered the $10 billion a month. Number two, it was a risk on, not a risk off trade. So how many people out there, one, thought that Federal Reserve was going to scale back its asset inflation scheme? And number two, who thought at the same time when they did that, we would get this boner candle? Let's call that a boner. Huge. We don't have to listen to Boner's name, actually, because the budget deal looks like it's going to get passed. So we don't have to worry about the government shutdown either. Maybe that's part of this boner candle that we got. But huge move to the upside, putting us up here to record levels. The question is, where do we go now? Where do we go now? I can't sing. You know that song. But really, where do we go now? Sweet child of mine, yes. And right now, if you look, and I was talking about this in the chat room at OptionMillionaires.com. I couldn't believe it. Yesterday, the Nikkei was up, huge, 250 points, right? But the S&P 500 futures weren't up much. It kind of shocked me. And then as S&P 500 rallied, so did the Nikkei. Nikkei's pulling back a little bit here, down about almost 1% here overnight. So it's going to be interesting to see where the S&P 500 futures open. Right now, futures are down a little bit. It's kind of like a, well, this is a beautiful flag, really, bull flag. I mean, this is a textbook bull flag here. You can almost see it flapping in the wind, even though we broke below the S&P 500 futures 1800 level. Levels don't mean anything in this centrally planned marketplace. So the question is, what price are we going to break out to? When are we going to get there? And how can you make money trading for the types of moves that we're going to see heading into 2014? To me, this spike is reminiscent of what we saw leading up to the start of 2014, New Year's Eve, and then the day after New Year's, the first trading day of the year we had. And if you can look back in time, I'll take my time machine out. No, just kidding. It's not even funny, really. But you can see the spike up. This was New Year's Eve. This was the day after. Yeah, I'm right. I'm always right. So it was a huge move to the upside, and then a continuation throughout the entire year. What a banner year 2013 has been for stocks. The Nikkei is up some, 80%. Some analysts are saying it's the biggest gain you'll ever see in your lifetime for the Nikkei. And the market here in the U.S. is up significantly. I think the NASDAQ's up like 30% plus. What is it? It's all penny stocks these days. Yeah, it's actually the SEC is now it's not $5 and under for penny stocks. It's $500 and under. So there's really only a couple non-pennies. No, I'm just kidding. Just trying to make a joke here. It's it's very early in the morning. So let's look at some stocks that I'm looking for further upside. Tesla, which pulled back, didn't really participate much in this rally. I mean, red. This is, I don't even know if this trades in the U.S. I mean, everything was up yesterday, but no, it's down over 3%. Had a spike down early on in the session, recovered a little bit, but not as much as everything else. Look at this line here. This is support. So I love this. This is a temporary pullback, and I think it's going to head over 160. which I was talking about when it bottomed down here at this level, broke up this 135, has acted as great support, just like, and it's almost a similar pattern here. See this? Very similar pattern that we're seeing here as we're finding support for the springboard to 160, 170, 175. It's going to be a nice pattern there to the upside. And then Tesla ultimately in 2014 making new all-time highs. Solar City's been pulling back as well. Another Elon Musk company, and you can see it's kind of consolidating here in this wedge. And again, looks like a break to the upside is coming. I'm not trading it. I know JB at optionmillionaires.com has some calls, so it'll be interesting to see where it heads from there. But for me, from a chart perspective, looks pretty good. How about Wynn? Wynn Resorts breaking out to new all-time highs today. Or yesterday, I should say. Actually, Goldman Sachs came out in the morning and said, company's doing better than expected. Same with Las Vegas Sands and also Caesar Resorts. CZR is the ticker there, and LVS. And you can see Wynn Resorts broke out. I put this chart up before we even broke out of this beautiful pennant. But you can see from a long-term perspective, beautiful. The only question is, when are we going to start consolidating again? I see some analysts coming out. I think Goldman Sachs put the target up to $200. So we'll see. I think at some point we're going to start consolidating again. That's going to take some of the oomph out of trading out of the money calls here for Wynn Resorts. So the big money was made from this move here, and especially today. Same with Las Vegas Sands, which broke out to new multi-year highs. Now this was a $100 plus stock back in 2007, $135 stock. Broke out of this consolidating channel, breaking to the upside. So we're looking for further gains here. If you're going to trade one of these gaming companies for upside, you can do either the Las Vegas Sands or Caesars Entertainment Corp, which also is broken out to the upside. We can look for a move up 26, and then ultimately multi-year highs for Caesar Resorts. Let's look at some of the financial stocks soaring. JP Morgan Chase, which it broke out here. We're right up here at new multi-year highs for JP Morgan Chase. Looks like $60 in the car. How about Goldman Sachs? Goldman Sachs rocketed higher early in the session today. Pulled back, came to support, and then right when the Federal Reserve came out, look at it, we hit support again and rocketed. It was like the trampoline. Boom! And then 175 looks like, and I brought this up maybe in the week ahead webinar that we do at optionmillionaires.com, or one of the times like maybe I came on audio was talking about this being, back to $200, and that's what looks like is coming. Look at this purple line here acted as beautiful support. You see the break to the upside off of that, and if you go back on a long-term perspective, you can see this purple line goes all the way back, back to the lows in 2009. So that's why we keep these lines here. And you can see this breakout here of this wedge formation. This is a long-term wedge, also very bullish. So Goldman spectacular. Wells Fargo breaking out as well, up 3%. This is all-time highs here. Wells Fargo. This is a company Warren Buffett said when it was at $9 back in 2009. He would have put anything he had into it. And so they say Warren Buffett's pretty smart, huh? How about HLF, which it continues to break to the upside? Look at it, up almost 3% today. NUS, new all-time highs. Another one of those MLM companies was struggling, and then finally they said, you know what? They're going to taper $10 billion. This is great for NUS, New Skin Enterprises. So it broke out. How about ICE? New all-time high for ICE. Look at that. Right at 2 o'clock, it's like, ho hum, ho hum. Let me buy ICE, ICE, baby. Dun 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 dun. That's exactly what happened. Hey, let's stop and listen. Let's buy some ICE and make some money. We'll make profits. I don't know how to rhyme, so let's go to the next stock. Google. Google again, same kind of chart pattern here. Broke up to just off all-time highs, which is I think 1091 for Google. We go back. There it is, 1092.37. You can see a beautiful breakout. This is, I like to call this pattern here. This is what I like to call the Zerg head and shoulders, and that worked a little bit. Okay, we broke through it today to the downside. And now look at that. Woohoo! And finally, let's go to Apple, because Apple's beaten down. And I can see it coming up to this line maybe as soon as early next week for Christmas time. Was beaten down tremendously today. Came back, though. Came back strong like the wrestler Hulk Hogan. It's like, oh, you can't keep me down too long. And you can see it coming up to this 560 level. So I like Apple calls into week's end. All right, any trades I make, I'll put it up in the chat room or private Twitter at optionmillionaires.com. Everyone have a great trading day. I'll see you in a little while. Goodbye.